We are the partners of Solarian Games.
I am Jason.
I'm Peter, and this week, uh, Chaosium prepares a monstrous menagerie for its basic role playing system, and it's coming soon. Dungeons and Dragons Crochet Pattern Book lets you wield your crochet hook to make magic.
It'd be great if it was a croquet pattern book. You could D&D croquet.
Crochet.
I want to see some D&D croquet.
Croquet.
+2 mallet of striking.
Right. Balls of traveling. All right. So more titles are coming to the Fallout Tabletop RPG. Paizo ends Pathfinder Adventure Path softcovers, switching to a quarterly model. Friggin' tariffs are back again. It's like Jaws 10. Dun, 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 dun. And lastly, Dungeons and Dragons, the immersive quest at Square One, Mississauga.
Basically, it's coming to Dallas.
Okay, there you go. Very good, very good.
All right. So, I think you're kicking off the first one tonight. I want to show off my cool new hat, though, that I got for our local baseball team, the Yard Goats.
Yard Goat, that's a great name.
Minor league baseball is so much better than major league. Much better.
So much more stuff happens, right? Because people hit more and
they hit more stuff happens. The crowd gets to go do stuff before the in between innings, and when it's all over, all the little kids are allowed to run all over the field.
That's cool.
That's way better.
That sounds like more fun.
That's what D&D should be like.
Yeah. All right,
kids running around the field.
So we're going to start with Chaosium preparing a monstrous menagerie. So if you don't know this, Chaosium runs everything off of their basic role-playing system. That's what Call of Cthulhu runs off of. I didn't know it had a name. Like, I thought it was just the Call of Cthulhu system or whatever.
Well, I mean, really, it's the RuneQuest system.
Okay.
It started with RuneQuest.
Right.
And then somewhere around 1980, they actually, I don't know if they were the first ones to do this. I'm not good with some parts of my history. So I don't know if GURPS was before or after this, but this was definitely one of the first times that anybody, if not the first time, that anybody actually said, we're going to take the game engine behind our popular system, in this case RuneQuest, and we're just going to make it available for everybody. So they actually, all the way back in 1980 is when they had first released this as like a standalone booklet for basic role-playing. And then, since then it's been behind everything else they've done.
Okay, see, I didn't know any of that. So anyway, so they are, apparently they've never done this before because this seems like new news. They're expanding the basic role-playing system with a creature compendium, simply titled Basic Role-Playing Creatures, as you can see on the screen if you're looking. This book will feature a wide array of monsters, animals, non-humans, and NPCs drawn from genres spanning history, mythology, science fiction, fantasy, and even the modern world. So it's like they're going to clump all the different monsters and creatures and stuff from all the different games and put them into one book.
And you kind of get what they're doing there on the cover art. So they've got they've got the Vitruvian man pose, but it's made up of all these different creatures from all sorts of mythos and time periods, and a leg from one creature. I think, what is that, like a Yeti or a Bigfoot or a Sam Squatch?
Yeah, it looks like that. Some kind of some hairy creature.
Little of everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. Looks cool. It says here the basic role playing system is known for powering games like Call of Cthulhu, as we said, using the D100 engine. And it has, tons of skills and a bunch of mechanics. And Chaosium has encouraged designers to explore new genres with this system. And the new compendium offers insight into how the company itself builds creatures along different settings, across different settings, that is. So I think what this is it's, by doing this, they're going to help all the other creators and everybody else who wants to make stuff for this system. To be compatible with each other. And like, this is, if you want to make some kind of crazy monster, this is what this looks like, kind of in the vein. You can go, oh, okay, I get that. Yeah, I'm going to make a monster like that.
I think it's really interesting. So, like I said, I think BRP was the first one to do this, to create sort of a universal system that you could apply to anything you wanted to, and then use it with theirs. The difference is that when GURPS did it, they put out 40 squigillion books. They thought of everything they could. We've got everything from I mean, GURPS espionage is actually pretty neat. All
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So, but BRP didn't do it so much. They were more just saying we're going to make an engine and make it available to people.
Right.
I mean, the engine itself, I love the engine because I think percentile based is so straightforward.
Yes.
You know, you have a 38% chance of doing this. Here's your percentile dice. Let's see if you can do it. And we'll put all your, things on that.
It's fairly
And
easy to understand, right? Because like every
yeah,
other thing is like, what's my chance of getting this done? We have about a 60% chance, right? After you figure out all the mechanics and the dice and the bell curve and the with this,
yeah,
it's like, what's my percentage chance? 68%. Oh, so 68%. So I'm gonna roll these dice, and if I'm 68 or less, I'm good to go.
yeah, exactly. Right. And I was trying to kind of look into exactly how many people have actually published with BRP. I mean, has it become a thing? I'm not educated enough to know all of that. But what I did kind of run into was a lot of people saying that they like it because it's great for homebrew.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the one hand, you could say they have released it under the ORC license. So that's the thing that I don't remember what ORC stands for. But I think this is the thing that who did it? Oh my gosh, was it Kobold Press that put the ORC license together?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, let's say it
I
was
think that
them.
sounds right.
So they've released it under the org license, and it's the same as most of these kind of licenses. So we have our own, the Elf license, which is the
Right.
everlasting license for free, and it's just
Elves
a
and
way of
orcs.
saying, or elves and orcs. I did that on
Right.
purpose.
Right.
So it's just a way of saying, listen, you can do whatever you want, and it's all kind of a response to what Wizards did back in the day when they first did the. I get all mixed up. The SRD and the DGB and the booba dooba dooba,
Right.
whatever. So everybody's got this way of saying, if you want to build something with our system, go ahead and do it. It's just that the orc one is a little bit less restrictive, and of course ours is less restrictive than anyone's.
Right.
But they're essentially saying, if you want to make a commercial product and you want to use basic role playing, they're supporting it even more.
Right.
You don't have to use any of these creatures, right? And I'd be kind of surprised if a commercial product used too many of them, because then you lose your identity as a unique product. But it's a system that lots of people know how to play. If you tell them it's powered by basic role playing, they're going to get that. I think this book is probably the best for the homebrew crowd,
Yeah, probably.
and
But then
for that
again,
it's cool.
well, there's that. But then there's also like you get people like friends of ours like Joseph Block, right? He's
Yeah.
not looking to launch a giant IP or anything like that. He's happy creating in other people's worlds quite a bit. So this would be a good thing for him because he could create something and he'd be fine using all these different monsters and stuff that would totally
If
fit his
this was
model.
a system that he liked,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Although, of course, with Joe, he's where he's the biggest expert is in Greyhawk and first
Mhm.
edition AD&D and those kind of things. Um, I'm not going to spoil anything yet. I'll just say that we're working with Joe on some things that will be
Right.
Lucky 13 based. So
Yeah.
that's
I was
so,
just I
so
was
that'll
just
be a
pointing out
chance
that
to do that.
a creator like him might want to
Yeah,
use something like this because
yeah,
that way they have to create their whole own like mythology and stuff. That's a lot of work. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think it's pretty neat. So I don't know if they've done anything like this before, but it's something I would like to check out.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Let's see. It's coming soon. So they haven't announced a date yet. Um, but I'm sure they're going to kickstart it. That's generally how that tends to go. They haven't said that, but that's my guess.
That's kind of where
Um,
it's kind of where the industry has gotten to now,
right.
Um, and I'll just say it's great for some things. Like we can kickstart something and have a chance to get some capital. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh
But
yeah.
it also means that it's a very different world than it was when you would go down to the store and you'd buy what was in the store, and it just the all of the sales seem to happen up front now.
Right.
And is that good or bad? I don't know. I would love to have a talk with some people. Maybe we could do like a roundtable sometime. Get some people who have been in the industry long enough to have an opinion on what's better and what's good about today and what's bad about today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Paul would come on, since he's had his store for a long time or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
maybe
I
we
mean,
can do
yeah,
that.
especially since Paul is, actively running a store. He is definitely on the other end of, hey, I would like to sell stuff afterwards.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. I mean,
that's sort of what he does.
I was just thinking about this when we were watching the Magic the Gathering documentary, and just generally thinking back to these things, and I remember store owners saying, "I can take these RPG books that are going to sit on my shelves for 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year before they're all sold, or I can take these little Magic cards that don't take up much space at all, and they're going to fly out the door in day one." You
Right.
know, the 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 stores need to keep moving things through. So I don't know. It's a whole separate discussion. I would love to have it on this show sometime.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yeah.
All right. And just I wanted to mention one other thing. We don't have a story on this. I didn't think it like garnered its own story yet because there's not enough information out about it. But they also make Pendragon, and they're going to be re-releasing the original Pendragon coming up soon. So maybe we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks when there's more information on it.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I would like to maybe do a deep dive into Chaosium sometime because as I've been spending more time listening to and reading about the history of everything, how uh, the Chaosium, which they were called the Chaosium back then, how the
Oh,
Chaosium did
are they
things in the early
really?
days. Yeah, I guess
That actually
it's
works.
I
That
like
actually
it.
does work. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of like calling them the Chaosium. They're such pioneers in all of this, and they did so many things before anybody else. So it'd be fun to do a deep dive.
Yeah, yeah. I actually played Pendragon, and it was when it was wasted on me because I was too young.
That's all
Um,
King Arthur, right?
yeah, it's all King Arthur, but it's like very, very King Arthur. So you have your rules of chivalry, and I mean, it's a pretty
Nice.
highbrow kind of game.
Huh.
I was too young to appreciate it at the time, but
Oh, because
apparently it brings a
was
lot
he
of stuff
like
to it.
Arthur Pendragon? Is that why it's called that? Is that
Yes, yes,
okay?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Well, you know what? It would be fun if you were really getting into Arthurian legends and you'd spend a bunch of time reading these, and you're like, oh my gosh, this world is fun. How can I play it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Cool.
all right, cool. Well, next story is yours, my
All
friend.
right, so the next story, a little bit lighter hearted here, the Dungeons and Dragon Crochet Pattern Book. So D&D's got a bunch of new books coming out. They have some adventurers journals and some DM's journals and various weapon things, but this is the one that I like the most. So they are doing Dungeons and Dragons Crochet, a book of many patterns, and this there was some questioning going on. I noticed on Reddit and other places at first because people were like,
What
I don't
the?
see who's credited for this. You know, did somebody really make this? Did you have AI make crochet? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. So I found the photographer who did all of this, Mithy Evans, and he put up a thing and he credited everybody. So we see all the people who there were 4 different pattern designers for this. A lot of people did all of these like amiguri and crochet, and we've got such cool things here. There's a crochet eye of Vecna.
Hmm.
I mean, that is so good. Little crocheted owl bears and mimics and beholders,
Beholder. Yeah.
all that stuff, all that stuff. Crochet is for everybody, you know. There was a I don't know I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but I remember a few years back. I mean, we're talking maybe 8 or 9 years back. There was a punk rock knitting circle in London, and some member of the royal family was involved with it. Like not officially, they just went to it, and that's how it
Hmm.
got on in the news and everything. And it was like people doing punk rock knitting and making things you wouldn't expect them to make. And
Like
here's
knitting anarchy symbols and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, oh, kill the queen. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry,
Right,
because they're over there.
right. Sorry, love.
Yeah. So this is cool. I would love to learn how to do this stuff. I'd love to have the time to sit down and crochet an eye of a hand of Vecna and all that kind of stuff.
Well, my wife did some of that a little bit, and
Oh, for
who's
real?
going to probably love this the most is Nyx.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she crochets, and she actually I think she does a
She go.
I think she
She
actually has
she. Wait, I'm
a
sorry. Is she
streaming
goes. Is
channel.
it she or they? I don't know Nix's pronouns.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay,
they have
I
like
just
a
want to make
streaming
sure.
channel, which they do crochet and stuff on
Well,
from
this
time
would
to
be right
time.
up their right up their pattern, right up their alley. But yeah, so
Pattern.
it's a pattern book,
Yeah.
step-by-step instructions with lay flat pages,
Hmm.
lore-inspired crochet projects, designed to be accessible for beginners and rewarding for experts. Um, yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of these at craft fairs soon. Now that they have the patterns for them. And I want to say this isn't the first time anybody's done this. There have been other people on Etsy and on Instagram doing things like this. So, but this is the first time that Wizards has embraced it and said we're going to do a book of crochet patterns, which I think is adorable and I think it's cool, and it would make a great Christmas gift. And not the book itself, but if kids don't have money to buy presents, but if you get a present that's made by a kid, that's so much better, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So imagine, if somebody made you a little crocheted owl bear. How great would that be?
And who has more time on their hands than kids,
Oh
right?
yeah, they have no worries, no problems, no stress. I'm lying,
Right.
but yeah, they should
I
do
mean,
this.
comparatively, they have none. They think it's the end
Well,
of
they
the
think
world.
they do because they
Yeah,
haven't
right.
seen the rest.
Right.
Yeah. So this is cool. All right, that's the Dungeons and Dragons crochet pattern book.
All right. So the next story, Fallout. I picked this one in particular because my daughter and I have been watching the Fallout series.
Okay, so you've got to bring me up to speed on this. I know there's a video game called Fallout, and it's got some
yeah.
kind of retro thing to it. What else is there? Is there TV shows, books, live
All right.
action?
So
What is all
so
this?
it started out as a video game, and I believe there are
Thought of it.
books. I believe there are books for it, but I mean, the video game's been around forever. It's
I'm
you know
assuming it's post-apocalyptic.
it is post-apocalyptic,
Okay.
but it's a world where the apocalypse happened in like this, I want to say the 60s. I'm not sure the exact date, but basically it's like as if the apocalypse happened in the 60s, I believe it was. And then
During the atomic age.
during the atomic age, yes,
Okay.
when everybody thought it was
And
going
Linda
to
in the
happen.
chat is saying it started as a computer role-playing game.
A computer
CRPG.
role play. Okay, yeah. That's correct. Yes, correct. CRPG. And so it was very popular. There's been many releases of it. I can't remember how many, like maybe 4 or 5, and then like expansions and whatever. So then the TV series came out, and that's my first real exposure to it. I mean, I knew about
What
it,
is
but I
it?
never
Live
actually played the
action?
game.
And
Oh no,
yeah,
it's
Brian.
yeah, it's live action.
Brian's given me an okay boomer in the chat. I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
But yeah, it's a live action. It's got some pretty good. I can't even remember all the stars, but it's got oh damn it, now I'm blanking on his name.
That's all right.
Goggins, Walton Goggins.
Oh, whoa.
He's awesome.
Okay, hold on. I'm interested now.
Yeah. It's really good. It's very good.
Okay.
And then so anyway, so this is they've come out. Modifius has a role playing game of this, and they're coming out with the new book, which is New Vegas, and that coincides with the next season of Fallout, the series, which they're going to New Vegas in the series, which is I think in a couple weeks.
Okay,
I think
so I'm assuming
maybe
that's just Las Vegas post-apocalyptic. Okay.
Post-apocalyptic Vegas, and there's all kinds of stuff, and I mean there's this whole like mythology that goes along with this Fallout. Like there are these like zombie, like I forget what they're called. Damn, I'm so terrible at this. But that's Walton Goggins is playing one of them, and they basically become like sort of immortal, but they have to take this drug to keep themselves alive. So long as they take this drug, they stay alive forever. And it's like as he's missing his nose, and he looks like a zombie like looking thing. Ghouls. And there's a whole thing. There's like caps. Have you ever seen anybody like talk about caps? There's that's what they use for money. They're like bottle caps. They have the people from the shelters that have hidden out, that have survived and come back up to, because people who live on the surface and then people who live in these shelters, and they've been living in these underground bunkers for they're like little mini cities for a couple hundred years, I think it is, and they're starting to come out, and that's where the game is. When you're playing the game, I think you're one of them and you come out into the world. And they have these things called Pip Boys, which are like these things you wear on your arm. And it's like a little computer thing that you wear. You've seen those?
Yeah, I've seen people build those. Those are cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so the game is set in New Vegas, and the goal is players investigate a surge in military grade weapons and a brewing conflict. The story begins in New Reno with a mysterious death and spirals into high stakes mission to prevent war.
So, I mean, would this give you your Gamma World fix, or is it close enough to that kind of a game?
Oh, absolutely. It's less gonzo than Gamma
Mm-hmm.
World, but there are
Okay.
crazy creatures in it. I mean, there are
Okay.
like crazy wild creatures in it too,
All
and
right. That's
robots
cool.
and stuff like that. So you could
Yeah.
totally get your Gamma World fixed. Matter of fact, I think it's a better world than Gamma World. No
Oh
slight
yeah.
on
I
Gamma
mean,
World, but I always thought Gamma World was kind of goofy.
no, Gamma World started out great. It's just
Mhm.
Wizards ruined the dang thing. They
Oh,
came
did
out with a
they?
version of it where you could literally mutate multiple times per day. It lost all sense of being a real post-apocalyptic thing, and it felt very close to a card game at that point.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just, I don't know. I'm so bothered that Wizards never really took advantage of the property that they had there and treated it right. They could have really gone somewhere with it, and who knows? There could be Gamma World video games and Gamma World movies now, but there
Oh
aren't
yeah, Gamma
because
World could have been the Fallout.
yeah, they just they let it go. They really didn't do what they should have with it, and unfortunately, they still own it, and they're still not doing anything. And we know that at this point, anything that escaped the TSR uh, clutches, the Wizards world,
Yeah,
is done. Nothing else is going to escape. So
right.
Boot Hill got out, and Gangbusters got out, and of course Top Secret got out. Nothing
And
else
that's
is
it.
escaping. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what though? It's fine because Gamma
You got
World's just
Fallout.
a concept. You got Fallout, play Fallout.
Yeah.
So they're also developing a solo RPG called Lone
Ooh.
Wanderer, slated for release in 20. That's next year. And this will use the 2D20 system, which I'm not 100%
I don't know
familiar
it.
with. Um, and a journaling format similar to Star Trek Adventures Captain's Log. Again, something else I'm not
Great.
very familiar with.
Well, that sounds good though. I mean, I like a
Yeah.
good journaling solo game. That's actually a lot of fun.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's going to be some source books that dive deeper and so on and so
Okay.
forth. But
So, are there Fallout novels?
probably. I
Because
don't
that would be
know.
cool.
I want to say yes, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
That sounds very familiar. Maybe somebody in the chat could look it up for us. But no,
Well,
I think
it
they
sounds
do. I
great.
think there are.
It sounds great. And for whatever reason, in this image here, there's a sign that says Lucky 38. I wonder what that is. Why isn't
It's
it
probably
Lucky
a
39?
bar. It's probably a
Should be
bar.
Lucky 13. We're Lucky 13.
It
Look
should
at that.
be right.
Get it together.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Next story.
We've got a small story here. Paizo is ending, but don't worry, it's ending the Pathfinder Adventure Path soft covers. So they've been for now 222 months. Do the math on that one because I cannot. For 222 months, Paizo has been doing a monthly adventure path. So, and they're cool. They're like 96 pages. They've kind of got that old module format that TSR did such a great job with, but getting one out every single month. So as you showed here in the art example that's up here, they kind of pump them out. It's like, okay, here's another one, looks like the last one. That's fine. It's not so much about getting something special. It's about saying, I'm going to stay on the adventure path as a player. I'm going to play every month. I'm going to follow these things.
Right.
And they've been selling them for $29.99 each. So that means essentially, if you are playing the Pathfinder Adventure Path, you are more or less subscribing to Paizo for $30 a month.
That's a good model.
That's a good model, right? And if you've got, I don't even know. So if you've got somebody who's the GM at your table, and you've got, let's say, 4 players, I guess if everybody agrees to kick in on it, that's not so bad, right? Because that's $6 a month each. If everybody
That's not
kicks in
bad at
on it
all.
like that. But what they're going to do now is they said they're going to stop doing every month and charging $30 a month, and instead they're going to keep going, but now they're going to put out a hardcover book once every 3 months. So every quarter, you're getting a hardcover book, minimum of 256 pages. So it's going to be, 3 times as big. But here's the nice thing, it's actually going to cost less.
Mm-hmm.
So before you were paying $30 a month, which added up to $90. Now the book is going to cost $80. So you save $10. I think it probably works out for Paizo because there's no guarantee that you're buying those every month. I don't
Right.
think I'm actually not sure. Somebody would
There
have to
might be
tell
some
me.
kind of membership thing or something.
Because
But yeah,
that's the whole thing.
but think about it. It's like your economies of scale, right? If you have to print, let's say you have 200 pages. I'm just going to just this number. It's like 200 pages of material,
Yeah.
and you could print that in 4 books, right? Which would
Hmm.
be 50 pages each, or you could print it one 200-page book. It's going to be cheaper. It's always going to be cheaper to print the one book because it's less. There's less organization. There's less. You edit the one book the one time instead of editing each one. It's just it's
Sure.
kind of like if you buy if you buy like a gallon of something to drink rather than ounces of things in separate containers.
Yeah.
It's
That's
it's
why
going
I've
to cost
switched to
less.
buying my bourbon by the gallon.
There you go. By the cake, by the crate.
Yes, but but I think the other thing it makes sense. Again, I don't know if they were requiring you to subscribe for $30 a month. That's a lot. If people were allowed to buy them whenever they wanted to, then that would be better for Paizo because to do them in books because it's more reliable. Like
Hmm.
you buy an $80 book and you wait 3 months, you buy another one. You're more likely rather than maybe skipping a month. So maybe that's good for them.
Right.
Um, it seems like a lot to me, no
Yeah.
matter what, to be putting
Right.
these things out. So I think the main thing Paizo has done here, if they're doing it well, and again, I'm an idiot, I don't know what's going on, but if they really have people playing, okay, so Benavides says you could buy them separately. So yeah, smarter to do it as a book. Um, but if they really had people saying, we're playing every month, we're going to get through one of these adventures every month, that guarantees their players are sitting at the table, staying engaged with Pathfinder. That's
Yeah.
the key.
That is
So,
key. That is key.
because, Paizo started as a magazine publisher, right? So they know subscriptions.
Hmm.
Because the origin of Paizo was um, Dragon Magazine was spun off to Paizo so that they could do it instead of TSR.
Oh, that's where they came from. Okay.
Yes, and it was the worst era of Dragon. I won't. I collect Dragon magazines. I spent a ridiculous amount of money on my issue number one. And I'm looking to see up there how many. Yeah, so they're very special things to me. I've probably put more money into. I put more money into my Dragon magazines than I have into both of my cars.
Jeez.
But maybe that's not right. Maybe one of my cars. But when it gets to the point where Paizo took it over, I don't even want them. You couldn't give it to me for free. I'd pay you $5 to keep it away from me. They're steaming piles of horse crap. They're the
Wow.
worst dragons ever. They looked like video game magazines. They were filled with crap on the front. They're ugly. They're garbage. I hate them. Um, so it wasn't really it didn't endear me to Paizo in general. And I mean these things they kind of look like garbage too. I don't like the way these things look either. But that aside, Pathfinder the game is really fun.
Right.
It's a great game. I mean, yeah, it's 3.5, right? So of course it's but they do such a good job with it. They know how to keep people playing. They put out great adventures, amazing writing. Yeah, their art department, their design department has no taste at all, and they should really hand it off to somebody who knows what they're doing. But doesn't matter. They make more money than we do, and
Hmm.
they keep it coming. And they kept the D&D flame alive when Wizards was trying to snuff it out.
Yeah.
Not intentionally,
Not intentionally.
accidentally with
No.
fourth
No.
edition, but Wizards could have destroyed gaming with fourth edition, and Paizo kept it going. So you
God.
cannot say enough good stuff about them as a company as a whole.
Right. It's amazing how many times D&D has, slipped through the eye of the needle. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Before disappearing completely. Like it is literally like it's it's literally been on lifelines multiple times and
yeah.
somehow it keeps coming out of it.
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, it almost didn't even happen, because when Don Kay passed away, that could have been the end of it if it hadn't been for the
Mhm.
Blooms stepping in. And you're just
Right.
there's so many moments, there's so many bottlenecks that could have happened. Um, so anyways, story here is Paizo is switching to books. Kind of a shame because I like smaller things rather than bigger books. But you know what? It's probably a very smart business move. And I bet you anything that the people who get them will be more likely to keep them on their shelves for a long time if it's an actual book. So that's a plus as well.
Right, right. Oh, I just want to go back to one thing. We had a comment about you asked about the Fallout, and Linda said Fallout has novels, graphic novels, and comics, and they also have a cookbook. So yes,
Brilliant, brilliant.
So,
Those guys know what's up.
yeah. All right. So next story, tariffs again. Here we go.
Jaws 17.
Here
Rocky
we go.
43.
Dun, dun, dun. So tariffs. So here we go. Recent changes to the U.S. tariff policies are causing chaos for international tabletop creators. So there's this thing called the de minimis exemption,
Yes.
which I knew about this already. I wasn't thinking about it for games, but like it's sort of like it's going to hurt Temu, and I think it's kind of what Temu and Wish have been.
Well, it's hurting everybody. So the de minimis means that if you send somebody the idea is you're not supposed to pay a tariff on a single product as a consumer. If I buy a shirt from Italy and have it shipped over, I should not pay a tariff on that. I'm not an importer.
Right. You're just buying something. You're not importing it.
Yeah. But people have used it as a loophole. Right.
So basically the current government is saying, nope, we're not doing that anymore. We're taking that away. So everything is being tariffed.
and we know one of the most ridiculous things that has happened is there's something like 30 different countries now that have halted shipments to the United States fully. So this is so frustrating. If I go on eBay and I find a cool Japanese edition of D&D, or if I find some rare computer from Italy, I can't get it. They won't ship it to me, and it's not the seller saying they won't ship it to me. The postal services of like 30 countries are just saying, we don't ship to the United States anymore because y'all crazy over there.
Right. Get your shit together, right?
Yeah.
So small publishers like Games Omnivorous and By Odin's Beard.
Good names.
And By Odin's Beard, I think I looked them up. They do Morkborg stuff, but they're based, in the Norway area. And there was another company in the UK. They're just not going to ship here. That's not going to be a thing. Larger companies are relying on limited domestic printing and distribution. So if you have a company like, say, Games Workshop, I would say, right, instead of, producing it there and shipping it here, some companies like that are going to just go, all right, fine, we'll just print it in the United States and you'll buy it there locally. So it's not being imported. It was made, we created it here, but it's being made there.
And it's some, who was it? Was it, oh my gosh, is it Troll Lords or was it?
It's Troll Lord.
Troll Lords just built a plant, or they're building a plant?
They're building a fabrication shop.
So, this will work out for some extent. We're getting ready to do our next top secret book. It's being printed in the United States, so that'll make it a lot easier for us to deal with things. And I think fans of tariffs would point to that and say, see, it's working. You're bringing business back to the United States. And maybe so in those cases, But the trouble is, it's also meaning that it's just impossible to do business on a global scale, which is kind of where the world is today. You can't turn the clock back. Well, you can, and it sort of sucks when you do it.
Well, not only that, but there's like the heavy-handedness of it, the speed and the heavy-handedness of it that it's being done. I mean, there's so let's just devil's advocate. Let's just say it's the right thing. Hey, we're doing the right thing. We're bringing manufacturing back here. Let's do that. All right, great. So let's come up with a good plan, and then we'll transition it over the next couple of years so the companies aren't devastated by this thing. They can prepare for it properly. And no, we're gonna do it right away, right now with no. We're just gonna put all these people.
And then we're
going
to change our minds every couple of months, so that if you did make it, because as a business we plan quarter by quarter.
Yeah, right.
And so if you can't even trust that things are going to be the same week by week, how can you plan quarter by quarter?
Right.
I mean, I am not going to go into the details here, but I'm working on a hardware startup now, And there's every possibility that we might just end up saying, you know what, we're going to make these in China and we're going to sell them everywhere except America. We just won't even
That's
sell them in America
you
because
could do that.
there's markets everywhere else. Turns out most people don't live in America.
Right. There's
So
there's nothing to stop you from creating it here, making it somewhere else, and selling it somewhere else other than here.
yeah, and then I'll let all that tax money go to other countries.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Ugh.
Um,
But
so
it's
yeah,
hurting this industry. We're talking about tabletop games today, so it's hurting this industry.
yeah. Um, yeah, I've got some more notes, but that's basically it. I
Yeah,
think
I think
the quote that you put down that I think is fitting, and we should say it is another hole in the boat for the industry.
yes. Did I put that down? I thought you put that down.
No, you did originally. It's up here in the top, and then
Okay,
I
well, I was
happened to
just gonna
include
say
that one.
there's the quote of the day. It's another
Yep,
hole in the boat.
yep, yep.
La, 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 la,
All
la,
right,
la,
so
la. Let's go to something fun.
we never like to end our show on a bad note.
Oh,
So
sorry. I'm just gonna go to the chat. Brian Kowalczyk asks, I thought the courts ruled that tariffs were illegal. So
no.
currently, a lot of this is moving through the courts. Some of them have ruled against them that you have to go through Congress to do them. You can't just make them up on the fly. But
Mm.
that doesn't mean that they're stopping them because the court also said they can keep on doing them while they work it out. So, you know what? That's legal stuff way beyond our understanding.
Oh my God, so far beyond my understanding.
Okay, so here's something cool though. This is fun.
Yeah.
All right. This is the first time I've heard of it. Dungeons and Dragons, the Immersive Quest, is now coming to Dallas. I had to figure out what the heck this thing was. This is something created by a Canadian company. Hey, Brian, this is a Canadian
All
company.
those Canucks.
Oh yeah, looking at I didn't write down what their name was, but they starts with a V. Who knows? Anyways, a Canadian company starting with a V somewhere near Toronto created this live action experience. It's kind of between a theme park sort of experience and an escape room.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to jump right to the meat of the matter. It's basically a ripoff of True Dungeon.
Okay. Yeah.
So True Dungeon has been around for many, many years. And I believe one of our friends is an investor in it, the Alex who runs Gamehole Con. True
Okay.
Dungeon is a truly innovative idea. It only happens at gaming conventions, and you go in, you get a bunch of tokens that have different spells and powers and things they can do, and you go room to room solving puzzles and engaging in combat. And the combat is sort of reflex based combat, so almost like you'll play a game of shuffleboard or something to see if you hit, stuff like that. Put together by people they've got great actors. They've got Vibrant Studios. Thank you, Brian. They've got great actors. They've got great sets. True Dungeon has become such a phenomenon that if you go on eBay and search for True Dungeon tokens, you'll see a very, very robust aftermarket in trading these things, just like you would with Magic cards. People get so into it, they wait all year to play it again. And so it's no surprise that somebody looked at this and said, how can I get a piece of that? So Vibrant Studios up in Toronto put together something, and they worked with Wizards to create D&D: The Immersive Quest. And the Immersive Quest is very similar. You go in and you have a chance. You go through these different rooms. There's puzzles to solve. There's things to do. It's kind of like going on a little adventure.
Hmm.
But and you get a character. I think there's 4 different character classes, just like True Dungeon. But the big differences are, first of all, it's completely D&D themed. They have all of the IP. So you go in there and you see gelatinous cubes, like we have it on there. There's beholders. There's all the stuff nobody else can do. At one point, you go by a sculpture replicating the player's handbook, the original player's handbook with the demon
Oh
sculpture.
no. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so very cool.
That's
If you
cool.
like D&D and you want to see some of this stuff brought to life, it's very cool for that. Um, it is a much more lightweight version. So True Dungeon is a 2-hour experience. This is less than an hour. It's really not meant for people to show off too much of their skills. It's more about have a good time. You know, there's a little bit of escape room. to it. And if you bring your friends who have never played D&D, don't know anything about it, they're still going to have a good time. They're going
Right.
to
Because
get
it,
it.
it looks like there's food and drink, and it's
Yeah.
like a hangout.
Yeah, when you're yeah, so you go through this thing and then afterwards there's a gift shop. You can buy all kinds of D&D themed things. You can get D&D themed food. It's honestly it's a great idea for Wizards. Of course they should be doing this. You know, True
Yeah.
Dungeon makes a lot of money. It costs
Yeah.
a lot of money to play True Dungeon and they're doing great with it. So Wizards said, "Why don't we get in on that? We'll make sort of a nerfed version, a very Disneyfied version. Um, Good for them. Sounds really cool. If you love D&D, you have friends who don't, but maybe they're open to escape rooms and they're the sort of people that would enjoy a Disney World kind of thing. Bring them along. Maybe they'll get what it is. It's a cool gateway drug,
Yeah.
you know?
We did something a little lighter than this even at when I was in Utah the last time. I may have shown you pictures. I think I showed you pictures of it, but it was like this really cool. It was actually in a mall,
Oh,
like a mall they'd taken up one of the old department stores or whatever, and it was multi-level, and you went through it, and it was like you were going through this other world. It was very otherworldly. Like giant mushrooms with lights and creatures,
nice.
and going to this like space bar. And they even had like a couple actors walking around in costume. They had like this alien guy, and he comes walking up, and he would actually interact with everybody. He's like, how you doing? I'm looking for such and such. I don't even remember what he was talking about, but he's like, have you seen any of those people? And I was
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, no, I have not. He's like, well, if you do, you know where to find me. I'll be in the bar. And it was just really cool because it wasn't really high impact or anything like that. You walk around, you see stuff. You had a little card, and you could like put it up against a screen, and it would show you different things.
Oh,
You had these like black lights, and you'd shine them in different places, and you would see symbols. And if you noted down the symbols that you saw, there was a puzzle to solve, but you didn't
yeah.
need to. And I see this as a growing thing because we had a really good time. And it was like me and my wife and my daughter and two friends of ours. One guy's a tattoo artist, the other one, like cool kids. They were actually cool kids.
Yeah.
And and they had a good time there. Everybody did. So I see this as being like a growing thing, like
I
stuff
would
like
love
this.
I would love to see that happen. One of the problems that real estate shopping malls have is shopping malls are dying.
Hmm.
People don't go out to these places anymore. But if you could start, it doesn't even have to be the D&D immersive quest, whatever it is,
No,
start
it could be
putting things
anything.
in there that say,
Yeah.
now it's a destination. We're going to go down, we're going to have some fun, we're going to do the thing, and then go shop and buy your Auntie Annie's pretzels and your
Right.
Spencer's gifts and whatever. Just,
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to see this start spreading more around the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, this is a watered down ripoff of True Dungeon. So what? It's cool. you
It's not
know?
well. True Dungeon. Look, True Dungeon
Oh, it's not
is a
taking anything away from them. True
it's
Dungeon isn't going to
no
lose a dollar to these guys.
no because they're at a gaming convention.
Yeah.
It's there for gamers. This has got to be more accessible, or else they go under. If they made this, if they did this, and it was as intricate as True Dungeon, it wouldn't
Wouldn't work.
succeed. No, it
No.
wouldn't work.
No, this is entry level, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
Hmm.
There was a fairly notorious internet main character for a minute there that I won't bother saying his name, but a he made a role playing game that nobody bought, and then he called everybody bad names and basically made a fool out of himself. And one of the things he was doing is he kept swearing that he was going to make a theme park one day. No, he's not going to make a theme park.
He never made
But
anything.
no, he's not going to make anything. One of the reasons I'm not saying his name right now is I can't even remember it. So there you go. But the point is, theme parks don't have to be the size of and scope of Disney World. You can make little. This is a theme park sort of experience, and you can have it. They're bringing it to Dallas, and I'm sure they're going to bring it to a lot more places. Um, and maybe they're going to start franchising it. Who knows? I would love it if suddenly there were Dungeons and Dragons immersive quests popping up in just random spots all around the country. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I agree.
we
I
all
agree.
win when this stuff goes mainstream.
Yeah, there should be. They could put one in Manhattan and then put one down in DC. Those
Yeah,
be two good places for it. Or Philadelphia be a good one.
yeah. I mean, I put them in Put them in St. Louis and Omaha and places where
Yeah.
people got nothing to do. You know?
It's true too, right?
Let franchise it out. Let it happen at conventions, whatever. You know, maybe we'll come up with a top secret one. Maybe we'll do a spy version. Who knows? I love this idea.
God.
It's very cool. It's very cool. And by all accounts, every time I've seen a video reviewing this, the people who go through it had a great time, and the only complaint they have is they say, "I wish it was longer." So that's a good complaint.
That's a good complaint. That's
So
an awesome complaint to have.
coming to Talus soon. I don't know when. Very soon. So I don't know if we have any listeners in Dallas, but if we do, go play it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we got this week. That's all the stories.
Yeah, that was quick. See, I told you.
Nothing else happened this week.
Yeah, that's pretty light week.
Yeah, we'll have stuff to talk about in the future with some of our own products, but we like to wait until we have something ready to buy, so we won't say a word. Oh, you know what?
You could show one. There's one you can buy.
All right,
yeah,
so
look at that.
There's just a couple left. We did our first print run. It almost sold out immediately. I want to say huge thank you to everybody who has bought Emmy Night Broad Holly so far. Scott Congable has written a great adventure here. It is loads of fun. Great mission for Top Secret. Takes place in Madrid and Russia. I can't pronounce the city in Russia. But there's just a couple left before we have to do another print run. So go to solariangames.com and buy those. Meanwhile, if you like and subscribe on YouTube, that'll help us a lot. If you join our Facebook group, that would be cool. It doesn't help us make any money, but we just want to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
And speaking of hanging out, if you are a Patreon paying subscriber, you have access to the after party on Patreon, not on Patreon, on Discord.
So I do want to say something. Soon. I want to say something about the Patreon. I'm a little behind. I got sick this last week. I'd been working on another product. I took a break from the Patreon work to do this work on this other product for a little bit. And just as I was getting ready to get back into the Patreon and knock that out for the month, I got sick and it kind of laid me out. But I'm better now. I actually finished 2 of the things for it this weekend so far, and then I've got off tomorrow, so I'm gonna spend some time. And so I'm gonna put up. I'll put up 3 of the 5 by tomorrow. So if you've been waiting for it, thank you. I'll get 3 of the 5 up by tomorrow, and then over the next week, I'll get the other 2 up.
Great. All right, everybody. If you are one of those people, we will see you in the Discord. And for everybody else, we will see you in a week.